this video, I want to talk to you guys about sound design. This isn't something that a lot of YouTubers put a lot of time or energy into, and I get it because it's very, honestly, setting up an extra mic and capturing audio like real time is pretty hard. It's more than just slapping a shotgun microphone on the top of your camera, although that works great for vlogging because it's easy. You don't have to clip on your lapel mic, it's just there on your camera. It's ready to go when you hit record. But I think sound design is a very underused and critical piece of creating quality content on YouTube. I'm out here in Yosemite on a family vacation, and I decided I needed to get some footage while I'm here because it is just stunning. It's early October, the weather is absolutely gorgeous. The trails are beautiful, the crowds are thinning. Of course, weekends are not as great, but I really couldn't pass up the chance to shoot some content. So I'm here talking to you about sound design. And like I said, I think it's a very underrated and very critical piece of creating quality content these days. So I just came to a trailhead sign, not a trail sign, an intersection, trail intersection sign. It said Yosemite Valley 25 miles. There wasn't a trail on there less than 4 miles. The top of this specific trail, the Chilnawalna Falls, is another 4.1 miles. So I'm actually going to head down. I am wearing my flip-flops and I am not ready for 4 miles in these. So I'm gonna head down to the falls, try and record some stuff on the way, hopefully get some audio. As YouTube progresses, it's gonna be harder and harder with more and more people coming to the platform to get a step ahead of the rest of the content creators on there. I think there's a lot of great creators. I think that a lot of them could do even better if they put some energy into sound design. Like I said, it is very hard when you're out on a trip to set up your lapel mic or set up your shotgun mic on your camera. It's just an extra piece that sometimes, it doesn't always work. If you have your flip up screen on my A6600, I can't mount the shotgun microphone or even the cold shoe clip for my Rode Wireless Go 2 setup. So it's very hard to actually use those when I'm holding a camera with the flip out screen so that I can see myself and make sure that I'm in focus and exposure and everything. So sound design is actually harder than it sounds, no pun intended, harder than it looks. These are the things that I do for my sound design, beginning with the Rode Wireless Go 2 system. The reason I bought this system was because great new piece of gear, number one. And I had the original Rode Wireless Go and absolutely loved it. This brought in 2 transmitters to 1 receiver, and it splits it as a stereo signal. So you have a left channel and a right channel going into your camera, which you can then split into separate tracks, and then of course fill left with right or vice versa. So this is a very handy tool because I use one as a lapel mic and one I hook up to the shotgun mic. This is the microphone I'm using. I'll put links below to everything that I am using. It's a really great setup when you're on the go and you don't want to put a lot of energy into your sound design, or sound capture, I should say. Sound capture in the field. An amazing tool. Another really important tool that I use is the Zoom H5 handheld recorder. It has 2 XLR inputs as well as an attachment on the top where you can attach either a shotgun microphone, a stereo capsule, or 2 additional XLR inputs. And then I think there's one more condenser attachment. But a really great tool. The batteries do die pretty quickly on that device, although I really like it. And I often pair that with my really nice Sony electric condenser lapel mic that I'll use on studio shoots or interviews for clients, etc. It's a really great piece of gear off camera if you are just capturing strictly audio, or for some reason you're just out of range of your camera, etc. But really love the Zoom H5 and really the entire line of Zoom handheld recorders. There's a really nice, I don't know which model, the Zoom One, H1 or something. It's really small. It's got a stereo, just a stereo mic on it, and it auto balances your levels, so you can pretty much turn it on, hit record, and you're ready to go no matter what. So awesome stuff coming out from Zoom. But because sound design is difficult and strenuous to add that element to your filming, particularly when you're in the woods in the backcountry, I like to do post-production sound design. And a really awesome tool that I found for sound design, Epidemic Sound. You might think of them as mostly music and mostly stock music, royalty-free music, but they actually have an incredible sound effects library that I go to, and I use that in a lot of my videos. Now, a lot of people tend to overdo it with sound design. I have a long history in the music industry, actually, and have produced albums, have been recorded on albums, have engineered lots of albums, live sound as well. So I've got some background in audio design. Something I've noticed is levels are just way out of proportion. You notice things that don't line up with what you're seeing, either sonically or even just timing. So there's a lot of mistakes to be made on sound design. You want to make sure that it sits perfectly in the mix, that it's not overbearing. You want it to feel natural. You want all of your sound elements to feel absolutely natural. You want the timing to be correct. You want the phasing, you want the pitch to be correct, because if you go on there and you look for a footstep, so let's say you're walking across the wooden deck and you want a footstep. There's a lot of footsteps. You know that it's not that wood, and you know it's not their footstep because it's too heavy of a sound or too light of a sound. You can sometimes even hear that there's moisture on the wood, etc. So you want to be very picky about your sound design. You want to be very specific with the elements that you use and how you use them. So depending on the audio gear you're planning to buy and use for your audio recordings, you'll want to be mindful of proximity to your subject for whatever it is you're recording. If you're using a high quality shotgun microphone, you can probably be about 20-30 feet away and comfortably record your audio well. If you're using something like I've got on my camera right now, you're going to want to be very close to your subject, as it's not a great microphone for distances. So be mindful of that as you're recording your audio. You'll see here in my Premiere project that I've got several audio tracks, and it's the perfect blending of all the different elements. I'm out here in the woods. Right now there's water going, there's a slight breeze, I hear the birds in the air, there's clouds overhead that are, well, they're not actually thundering, so I can't say that. But there's, every once in a while I'll hear something off in the woods, maybe it's a squirrel, footsteps walking across the rock, splashes of water, fish jumping out of the water. There's a lot of elements here. So I'm gonna have multiple tracks for each of those elements, and I need to blend them just right, and so that it doesn't feel completely unnatural. I love being outdoors. I love capturing the outdoors. I love capturing my travels. I love going to new places. I love seeing old places that are very nostalgic for me. Yosemite is one of those places. For those of you who are content creators, I think sound design is a very important step for you. I would say look into it more. Look into some of the products that you can get that are not super expensive but are very effective. If you can't do a monthly subscription to Epidemic Sound, that's totally okay. Maybe make an investment of $100 to get the Zoom recorder and do your own sound design. I've got a library of things that I've recorded myself that I can use and pull in on my projects. I really enjoy doing that when I can, or recording on location when I can, but a lot of times it just isn't possible. For those of you who are continuing to pursue content creation on YouTube specifically, I would really encourage you to begin looking into the options for sound design and taking that next step, taking your productions to that next level. I think it will benefit your channel greatly, and I look forward to seeing your channels. I'd love to hear your feedback. For those of you in a year from now,
your channel's just exploding, I would love to hear that. If it helped, if it didn't, if it was a waste of your time. I think this is something that's a valuable element to your content creation. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and follow along if you like these videos. I'll see you next time.